If Quadrant 1 of a story is a whiff, and Quadrant 2 is a whoa, Quadrant 3 is a wham. And even though Gladiator is a big story, there are lessons in this movie for stories of every size, especially in this all-important third quadrant. I'm Jule Kucera, creator and founder of StoryJoules, and I help writers craft powerful stories. For example, Marnie Collins, a screenwriter and novelist, said, StoryJoules is simply the most effective story analysis tool that I've come across. As you figure out the third quadrant for your story, it's actually pretty easy if you think about what would my protagonist, my avatar, most hate to lose, and then you take it from them. Be brutal, be really mean, be ruthless. Just as in the prior two videos, everything for the Quadrant 3 analysis of Gladiator is in the StoryJoules Handbook. It's free, it's 67 pages, it has many other things in it as well. The link is below. Without further ado, let's get into Quadrant 3. Each quadrant is set up by the end of the quadrant that precedes it. So the end of Quadrant 2 sets up Quadrant 3. Where we left off in Quadrant 2 is that Maximus learned great gladiators appear before the emperor. That was Maximus's mindset-shattering midpoint. Up to this point, he had first refused to fight, and then he had started fighting in a very perfunctory way. He was disgusted by using the death of gladiators to entertain people. But at the mindset-shattering midpoint, Maximus becomes proactive rather than reactive. He desires to become great because that will enable him to appear before Commodus and get his revenge by killing him. This is a key moment in the whole story, in every story where there is a character arc, this internal shift from stasis to change. The avatar has already had their mindset jostled 3 times. The whiff inciting incident, the decision to I gotta go, and in the whoa shake up a belief. But this mindset shattering midpoint totally destroys their existing mindset about the situation that they're in, what's real, what's the way they're thinking about it. And they decide, I gotta change. Now that we've been reminded of how Quadrant 2 sets up Quadrant 3, let's move into Quadrant 3, where Maximus decides, I will become a great gladiator. Maximus quickly brings his leadership skills to bear in the arena. He rallies the other gladiators, he commands them. This is what he does well, and we get to see him take those skills that he had on the battlefield as a general and apply them to the gladiatorial arena and to win. I love the moment when he yells, hold, hold. Maximus does become a great gladiator. He gets to fight in the Colosseum. He gets to appear before the emperor. That is exactly what he wants. But unfortunately, when he bows, which appears to be potentially bowing in respect to pick up an arrowhead, he is thwarted in his plan to kill Commodus because Commodus, being the sneaky person that he is, has Lucius stand in front of him. Commodus is not beyond or above sacrificing a small child to save himself. This is a man who killed his own father. Even though Commodus has his plans, Lucilla has plans of her own. Lucilla asks Maximus to meet with Senator Gracchus and to come up with the plan to overthrow Commodus. She knows that Maximus commands the army. They will respond to him. Now, Maximus faces another crisis. Do I do X and risk Y, or do I do Z and risk W? This is how the crisis is phrased as a binary choice. For Maximus, the choice is, do I meet with Gracchus and risk failing at my personal mission to kill Commodus, or do I not meet with Gracchus and then risk allowing injustice to prevail, which is contrary to the wishes of my mentor and father figure, Marcus Aurelius? Maximus first tells Lucilla, nope, won't do it. I'm a slave, I'm a prisoner, I could die tomorrow. And he yells at her, what can one man do? Lucilla then reminds him of the man that he was. He tells her that man is gone, but he's not. Maximus eventually commits to leading the rebellion, but unfortunately, it doesn't turn out well. Commodus, in a very sneaky way, learns of the rebellion. The rebels are slaughtered, Cicero is killed, Maximus is captured. They could have easily killed Maximus, but they didn't because Commodus wanted him taken alive because Commodus has other plans for Maximus. Maximus is taken to prison. He's hung in chains. It's similar to a crucifixion pose that is entirely intentional. The director, Ridley Scott, wants us to see Maximus as sacrificing himself. Maximus is then visited by Commodus, and Commodus tells Maximus, "We're going to fight in the arena." Maximus is disbelieving. He says, "You would fight me?" But Commodus has his own plan, and he hugs Maximus and stabs him in the back, not unlike the way he killed his father in an embrace. This is Maximus, very sneaky, brings people close and hurts them, kills them. But this wounding of Maximus sets up the perfect conditions for a heroic story. Maximus re-enters the arena. He's wounded. He's without an army or a company of gladiators. He is alone, other than his enemy. It's one-on-one. And it's his task to complete his final life task given to him by Marcus Aurelius, return Rome to the people. Will he do that, or will he just kill Commodus and get his own personal revenge? Maximus is the general who became a slave, the slave who became a gladiator, the gladiator who defied an emperor. If you like the three-act model, that is a perfect summary of the three acts. The general who became a slave, the slave who became a gladiator, the gladiator who defied an emperor. And for those of you who like 4 quadrants, you may be wondering, what's the difference between Quadrant 2 and Quadrant 3, since it's not called out here? And I would say in Quadrant 2, Maximus is at first a reluctant fighter and then a perfunctory fighter, just going through the motions, whereas in Quadrant 3, he is a leader of gladiators so that he can become great and appear before Commodus to kill him. He has a plan. With Maximus's return to the arena, that concludes the 3rd quadrant. Now let's break it down according to the StoryJoules model. After the mindset-shattering midpoint, the avatar comes up with a plan, and this is Plan A, Change You, because it's focused on changing things around the avatar, not changing the avatar themselves. Maximus's new plan is to become a great gladiator, appear before Commodus, and kill him. Notice everything about that is external, other than becoming a great gladiator, but shouldn't be hard because Maximus was a great general. Maximus has become proactive, but he hasn't changed how he shows up in the world. He's still leading a group of fighters to kill another group of fighters. He was leading soldiers in Quadrant 1 to kill other soldiers. Now he's leading gladiators to kill other gladiators. He's still in charge of a group of men to accomplish his objectives. His plan to appear before Commodus works, but even though he gets to pick up an arrow, how conveniently stationed right near his feet, Commodus pulls Lucius between them, and Maximus knows he cannot kill Commodus in front of Lucius or with Lucius there. This key feature of Plan A is that it will fail. Whatever the plan is, it will fail. It has to fail because the avatar has to change, and they haven't yet changed. But wait, there is more. Lucilla has her own plan. So it's part of Plan A, Part 2. And she asks Maximus to meet with Gracchus to plan a rebellion. This plan is different than Maximus's plan because this one involves others. Maximus's Plan A was just Maximus, but now it's going to involve others. But alas, this plan fails even worse than the previous plan. Cicero is killed, the rebels are slaughtered, Maximus is captured. It is the perfect setup for the next segment, which is the dark night of the soul. Maximus is taken to prison where he can contemplate his failure and his fate. If it wasn't for Maximus's leadership of Lucilla's plan, Cicero would be alive, as would many others. The dark night of the soul is the only segment, the only one of the 8, where the avatar is allowed to retreat and to wallow. The function of that retreat and wallowing is to allow the avatar to focus on their internal change. Think of it like a metamorphosis, like a worm in a chrysalis turning into goop before they emerge as a butterfly. Good news, stories don't end here because we want to see that butterfly fly out and be tested. This begins with the next jewel, Return Changed. Just as the end of Quadrant 1, the avatar makes a decision to go, at the end of Quadrant 3, they make the decision to return, and they are returning to the problem that has dogged them from the beginning. And the problem that has dogged Maximus from the beginning is fulfilling Marcus Aurelius's request to return Rome to the people. But this time, Maximus has to do it alone. No army, no gladiators, no one. Maximus. Maximus is going to answer his own question. What can one man do? Maximus re-enters the arena, standing next to his enemy. I love this shot in the movie. It's the perfect juxtaposition, and I love the way Commodus has cloaked himself in angelic white feathers to look like, angel wings or whatever. He's no angel. This completes the StoryJoules analysis of the third quadrant of Gladiator. Next week, we'll look at Quadrant 4, and we'll get to see Maximus face his ultimate test. First, let's remind ourselves of what's happening foundationally underneath this model. I like to think of it as the gears causing the wheel to turn. In the external dimension of order and chaos, Maximus is in his most chaotic world ever. It starts out in the Colosseum in a battle, and it ends in a revolution. His external world shifts from chaos to worse chaos. He loses his best friend, he's captured. His external world can't get much worse because at this point death would be a relief, and also he would get to see his family. So his external world has gotten as bad as it can get. In his internal world of stasis and change, he began changing his plans. I will become a great gladiator. I will appear before the emperor. I will kill him. His plan then shifted to lead a rebellion so that he could still kill the emperor that way, but that plan too failed. Maximus has led armies into battle and gladiators into the arena, but this time the wounded, dying Maximus enters the arena alone. He will uphold justice as Marcus Aurelius requested, even if it kills him. We think he will. That's his task. Now, let's shift to the Quadrant 3 questions for you and your story. Question 1. What is the all is lost of my work in progress? Question 2. How does the plan A change you lead up to the all is lost? Question 3. How does my avatar need to change? Question 4. How did my avatar contribute to the all is lost? And question 5. To what arena must my avatar return to face their ultimate test? As always, StoryJoules Handbook has Gladiator and more, 67 pages. It's free. It's linked below. Thank you for being here. See you next time for Quadrant 4, where we will face the thrill and the triumph of Maximus. Tally ho!